So it's a fact that you may not know. Over 50% of small agencies fail within the first 5 years due to poor strategy and lack of expertise. Look, I've been doing this for a decade and I've helped thousands of businesses and agencies grow. I've seen the same mistakes repeatedly, and the first time I saw them was when I made them myself. For example, many agencies like to rely on cheap SEO or other services and not really have a strategy. They'll just throw stuff at the wall to see what sticks, hoping that will lead to instant results, higher search rankings, more leads, whatever it is, and it just never works. It results in wasted budgets and missed opportunities, and it just gets you stuck in this cycle that nobody wants to be stuck in. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 biggest mistakes about starting and growing an agency based on my own experience and how you can avoid them in your agency. Starting with mistake number 1, focusing on quantity instead of quality leads. Now, what do I mean by that? We as humans tend to focus on what I call vanity metrics. You see it on social media where we talk about likes, comments, shares, all that stuff. The same thing happens with lead gen. You'll see it on Twitter in particular where people talk about, I booked 1,500 qualified sales calls in 7 days or something like that, whatever the numbers are. But what they don't talk about is the quality of those leads. You might book thousands of calls, but they might suck. They might not show up. They might not be qualified for your product or service or whatever it is that you're offering, SEO, for example. They may just waste your time. They may want to just get information from you. A million things can happen, and you're wasting your time focusing on people that are just too poor, for example, to afford your service. So you are getting a bunch of leads, and that's great, but they aren't quality leads. So what we want to do is focus more on attracting people that are qualified for your product or service or whatever it is that you offer. And that may mean less leads and less booked sales calls, but it'll mean more money and higher conversion. And that's much more important, right? Who cares if you have more calls than I do, if at the end of the month, I get more money in my bank account than you do. So focus on getting quality leads instead of quantity leads. And that's a huge mistake that a lot of beginners, including myself in the beginning, made quite often. And how does that end up happening? Well, first of all, like I said, you focus on the wrong metrics, which is the number of calls versus the quality of calls. It also has to do with the strategies you use to get those calls and those leads into your pipeline in the first place. If those strategies aren't aligned with your ideal client profile, you're going to get low quality leads from poor people that waste your time and just don't generate you reliable revenue. You have to come up with effective lead generation strategies that reach your ideal customer avatar. What I mean by that is that not every approach to client getting and outreach is going to result in the same clients for every niche. For example, SEOs will often tell you the best way to get SEO clients is to rank your website in Google. You shouldn't do that to prove that you know what you're doing, but in my experience, the leads that come through those are pretty terrible. They tend to not have any budget, they tend to have unrealistic expectations, and so on. So if you're looking for SEO clients, relying on SEO traffic, ironically so, I guess, is not a great way to get leads. Instead, what you're going to want to do is learn about your industry that you're targeting, learn about places that they will be, things that will resonate with them, and ways that you can speak to them and speak to their pain points, then get them into your pipeline so you can close them on a sale, as opposed to trying methods that you heard somewhere that work. Like cold email may not work to get a hold of a doctor because they don't answer their own email, but it might work really well to get a hold of a plumber, for example. And those, I don't know if those are true examples, but my point is you're going to have to learn how to reach your ideal customer avatar with methods that work for them. Of course, none of that's going to matter if you don't have an offer that it's targeted to speak directly to your niche that you're targeting. So what I mean by that is generating more appointments isn't necessarily what a plumber wants. A plumber wants a job. You have to come up with an offer. And the difference, by the way, between an offer and a service is that this offer is the way you package the thing that you do to get results for the person that you're targeting. This is a distinction that people struggle with, particularly in SEO. Like I'll ask them what their offer is and they'll say organic SEO or Google Maps SEO or something like that. And that's not an offer. An offer is a way of I'll get you more calls through increased online visibility or something better than that. But you have to come up with an offer that resonates with that same audience that we just talked about and then offer it to them. That's going to make your sales process so much easier because you have an offer that audience resonates with. If you have the right audience, but the wrong offer, you're not going to be able to close. So work on creating an offer specific for your niche, present it to them, and you're going to have a much higher conversion rate. And this is something that people in SEO in particular do wrong because they just see what they offer as SEO or links or content or whatever. It's not what an offer is, and it's not going to work if it's not crafted to fit the audience that you're trying to reach. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know if these people that are my leads are are actually potential client I want. And the way you figure that out is through pre-qualifying leads through the prospecting phase. Like I said, if you get a bunch of calls with unqualified people, it's just going to waste hours that could be spent on high potential clients. So you're going to want to put pre-qualifying questions, and that's going to be different for every offer and every niche, but you're going to put those in your prospecting phase so that if somebody ends up not being qualified, you can not book a call with them. And maybe you send them some free content or refer them to somebody else that does work with them or whatever, but you turn them down for a sales call because you can't help them anyway. And you're wasting their time and your time, and you end up with less money in your bank at the end of the month, which is the goal, right? So what's the solution? Like I've told you that the big problem here that I see with agencies is that they have leads that aren't qualified for their service. They're low quality, whatever you want to call it. The solution is to shift to a quality first lead generation approach. I want you to invest in tools like Legiit Leads, where you can connect with tailored professionals and resources to attract and nurture ideal clients consistently. That way, you're getting the kind of clients you need, people that can help you create the offer for the specific clients, and you're booking sales calls with people that are actually a good fit for you and your business and your offer. That's the number one mistake, is you can't make any money if you don't get clients. The second mistake I see that keeps people from getting more money in their bank account is they go to all this trouble to get clients, and then they don't do anything to keep them. Think of it like dating, right? We go out on a date, we get dressed up, we smell good, we get cleaned up, we get the date, and then once we get them to be our significant other, we stop trying and then we end up breaking up. It's the same thing with clients, right? Losing client forces you into a constant cycle of finding new ones and finding new ones and finding new ones, which leads to inconsistent revenue, burnout, and makes it so where you can't focus on having a stable offer. Equate this to a leaky bucket. You have a bigger hole in the bottom of the bucket than you do in the top. So there's more people coming out of the bottom, meaning that are leaving, than there are coming in the top. So you constantly have to pour a ton of water in the top just to keep up with the amount that's leaking out of the bottom to keep the bucket full. So hopefully that analogy makes sense. Now, how does this happen? It happens in a few ways. And the first one, expectations, or you overpromise and you underdeliver. If you fail to meet expectations, clients quickly lose trust and walk away. Setting expectations is important. You need to do that in the beginning of the relationship, both in the sales call and when they agree to be a customer, so that you can point back to that if something ever comes up and say, look, Steve, remember in the beginning we said that this is what would happen in this time frame? This is where we are in that, and it's working. If it's working, then you have that to fall back on. If it's not working, that means that you suck and you need to get better and learn how to deliver for your clients so they don't lose your trust and walk away. One other thing I'd like to add to that is it's a cliche to say underpromise and overdeliver. That's not a good strategy either. When you underpromise, you're inherently lying to someone, setting the expectations so low that you're not telling them the truth. What you need to do is overpromise and then overdeliver. So give them a great big promise and then not only deliver on it, but deliver on top of it. That's going to not only make them super impressed, going to give them high expectations, and it's going to make you look incredible because you're great at your job. And it's going to make you have to continually improve and have a better product and service. So people that tell you that you should underpromise and overdeliver are wrong, and I'm right. You should overpromise and overdeliver to give the best experience possible for your clients. Sometimes you can be giving a fantastic experience for your clients, but they may not understand that. And that's your fault too, or that's my fault too. I screwed this up a lot. And the reason that happens is you don't consistently communicate with them. Go back to that dating analogy. If they feel ignored or undervalued, they're going to go look for somebody else that gives them what they want. And, and in business, that's somebody that can do their SEO better and tell them how it's going better than you can. So constantly communicate with them to the point where they're like, dude, I got it. All right. Communicate so much, but not to the point where they ignore you, but communicate so much that they feel loved and nurtured and valued and know that you are out there fighting for them and doing your ethical duty to get them the results that you promised them when you took their hard-earned money. So communicate with them constantly so you can do the next thing that will add more money to your bank account and keep your agency growing. And that's offering upsells and added value and additional things on top of what you've already offered. So for example, you might offer them SEO, organic SEO in the beginning. You say, if you want to look at all the results I've gotten you, Steve, with our organic SEO package. If we started doing some Google Maps SEO, you'd get even more leads. Since you're already a client, I can add that at a discounted rate of whatever. Or perhaps you start offering them paid advertising or social media management or just consulting or something on top of what you're already doing because you're doing a great job for them and they love what you're doing. And if you're not doing a great job, then you need to stop sucking and start doing a great job. But if you're doing a great job, you can ask them for more money for more stuff so you can get them even more results. And that's a great way to not have to constantly go out and get new clients, is to just get more money out of your existing clients by offering them upsells or added value or so on, so that you can really, really deliver for them and they can really deliver that money to your bank account, which again is the goal to keep your agency flourishing. So we've talked about a lot of things that are causing people to leave agencies. The real solution to all of this is focus on building long-term relationships. Going back to that dating analogy, work on a relationship with a client just like you do with a significant other. You have to put in the time, you have to meet their needs, you have to provide for them, you have to do things that make them feel valued and give them personalized experiences. And what I suggest that you do is create personalized experiences for your clients and use something like Legiit to help you find the experts who consistently over-deliver results for you, so that you can have the confidence to give them the results that they absolutely deserve, and that they hired you specifically to deliver for them. To get someone to stay with you, you have to be able to get them to start working with you in the first place. We talked about that a little bit already, but this is the third mistake that I see people make, again, and myself, is that I get all these sales conversations and they're with my ideal customer and I have a great offer and it still doesn't convert into money in my bank account, meaning they don't become a client. Why does this happen? In my experience, it happens for a few reasons. One of them is ineffective sales strategies, meaning you're wasting time on calls and missing opportunities to close deals. A weak close can lose high-ticket clients who are ready to invest. Close is the part of a sales call or a sales process where you present them the offer and ask them to sign. It's not as simple as going, okay, here's the thing, and this is what it'll do, sign here. It can be, but that's not going to work with the really, really high-ticket kind of clients that you want to. You're going to have to work on your close and work on a sales call or sales process where you deliver that close in a way that gets people to go, Jesus, I have to get this, because the amount of pain I'm in now will be less than the amount of pain that spending this money with this person is going to do. That's how a close is crafted. There's a lot that goes into that. It can be a video all on its own, but learn how to make a proper close on your sales calls or it's not going to work. If you've ever watched a webinar, you know how it starts with, this is me and this is what we're going to talk about. And then it gives you some value. And then at the end shows you how you can buy something to get that same effect for yourself. It's usually a course or a software or something like that. That's the close. And you need to come up with something probably not as cheesy as you get on those webinars, but something like that in order to turn those leads into clients. Because again, leads are great, but if they don't close, and it doesn't matter, it means that you're going to be poor and somebody else is going to be rich. And that's not what we want. One of the reasons that people fail to close during their sales calls, and one that I was pretty bad about because I like to talk, is that they don't listen during sales calls. There's this cliche that you have one mouth and two ears for a reason, and that's because you should spend twice as much time listening as you do talking. What happens with a lot of people when they get on a sales call is they know that they're there to sell somebody something, so they just want to talk about their thing, talk about themselves, pitch their thing, and don't listen to the client's pain points, address them and tell them how they are the cure for that pain and that their offer is the antidote or some other analogy that works there. They end up just talking and not letting the client tell them. If you do this the right way, you can say almost nothing, let them tell you what the problem is, and then you just go, yep, I hear you, Steve. That's a big problem. And what if I told you I had just the thing that can fix that problem for you and get you to dream outcome? That's exactly what people do wrong, is they just talk and talk and talk and don't listen. I did a cold email training years ago where I was teaching people how to do cold email. And the title of that training was No One Cares About You. Now, it was a bit of a clickbait title, but it's true because people would fail at cold email because they would open it with all this crap about themselves. Hi, my name is Chris. I sell SEO services for the last 10 years and I want to, by that point, they've already hung up because nobody cares because they're talking about themselves. You need to shut up, listen, figure out what the client needs and then give it to them. That's how you close more calls, by closing your mouth and opening your ears. But you still have to think about what you just heard. Make sure that you don't make the next mistake, which is to clearly demonstrate ROI. Nobody wants to hire an agency, really. Nobody wants to spend money on marketing, SEO, ads, social media, any of that stuff if they can help it. They're doing it because they think they're going to get a return on their investment. And the fact is that most people, when they're pitching clients, don't explain this properly and they show them how they're going to make more money than they spend by investing with you. If you don't demonstrate that, people aren't going to invest with you. It's that simple. There's no reason to invest in SEO, marketing, any of this kind of stuff with an agency if you can't demonstrate an ROI. And it's mind-boggling to me how bad people are at this. In fact, I recently asked a question about this in the Superstar SEO Facebook group. I think I gave the example $3,000 a month for SEO to a client. How much money should they have made from SEO in 6 months of working with you? And the number of people who said zero, or they can't say, who basically didn't give a number that was greater than the $18,000 they would have paid at that point, was mind-boggling to me. Why do you deserve to make $18,000 over 6 months and your client doesn't deserve? Just breaking even isn't even good enough. If you can't demonstrate to them why they are going to make more money by using you than they will spend on you, you're not going to close a sale, and you don't deserve to close a sale. So figure out how you're actually going to deliver that, and then demonstrate it in your sales call so that you can tell your prospective client how you are going to make an ROI for them. The next mistake in this portion, and that's not closing with confidence. If you don't know how to deliver ROI reliably, that's going to show in your presentation. If you don't know how to listen and then provide answers to customers' questions, that's going to show in your presentation. And you're not going to show confidence, and you're not going to be able to close with confidence. And just like in that dating analogy, people like confidence. And if you don't have confidence, they're going to say no. If you seem overly eager to negotiate price and are willing to step down, it undermines your authority. So stick to your price, close with confidence, and get the deal done. The solution to all of the steps in this problem is to master your sales technique. Use our community at Legiit. We have experts in every area to help you refine your approach and develop pitches that convert skeptical prospects into loyal clients. And that way you can move on to solving mistake number 4, which is relying too much on outsourcing without control. Now, you might be thinking, Chris, you own a company that helps people outsource. Why would you tell me not to outsource? That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that you need to outsource strategically and not be over-dependent without any proper oversight on the people, on the things that you are outsourcing. So, for example, you still have to have an SEO strategy if you're going to outsource your SEO, and then you just let other people fill in that strategy. We at Legiit have made a point to make sure that you have skilled people that you can rely on, but you still have to use the right services in the right way. One of the ways to get this wrong is to outsource tasks that you don't fully understand. If you're selling SEO or you're selling paid ads or whatever, let's just say SEO, you don't know how to get SEO results on your own. Well, first of all, how are you going to know if the service that you bought is this right service for the situation that you're in or the point in your SEO campaign you're in? But also, how are you going to look at the deliverable and see if it's what you paid for, what you asked for? Now, again, we make a point to make sure that you have high quality people that you can depend on, but you still need to verify all of your work. This is your baby. This is your reputation. This is that your client's business that you're taking into consideration here. So you need to know what the hell you're doing and be able to look at it when somebody gives you something and say, yes, this is what I need. If you aren't good enough at it yourself, you're not going to know what you're outsourcing. You're not going to know how to pick the right things. You're not going to know how to verify the quality of those things, and your business is going to suffer and your client's business is going to suffer. So to do that, to make sure that all of this works, you need to avoid the next mistake, which is failing to create clear processes for your outsourced team. And what I mean by that is you need to treat your outsourcers, your freelancers, whoever you're working with, just like you would employees in your company. You need to give them a strategy and processes and SOPs, or however you want to break it down, then let them follow it. If they have that, they're just going to do what they think is right. That's going to lead to miscommunication, missed deadlines, poorly executed tasks, and most importantly, the lack of results, which means you don't get to keep making money. So make sure that you create clear processes and structure for your team, even if they're an outsourced team, so they know what you want. The way that you can manage that is building internal expertise. In the beginning, that might just be you, but as your company grows and as your agency grows, you're going to need some people internally that can manage the freelancers, or manage your clients, and keep making sure that you deliver on the expectations that you set in your sales call so you can deliver an ROI. You see how this all ties together? So you can keep people on, and then you can focus on growing even more. See how it's kind of a big organic thing where they all fit together? If you're not building internal expertise, hiring the right people, training them properly, and just relying on freelancers, you're going to be as dependent upon them forever. So this is going to slow your long-term growth and so on. And again, I benefit from you using freelancers, but I'm not going to BS you. I'm going to tell you what works and what doesn't. You need people on your team that can help guide freelancers and the people that you outsource to. Those people need to be responsible for the quality control systems that you establish and train your in-house team with wherever possible. So you need to have a certain standard that you hold every step in your deliverable, in your service, in your offer, and then have somebody manage that. And if you need help with that, you need to leverage Legiit to find skilled professionals who align with your goals while ensuring you maintain oversight. You don't get to just hand off your entire business to freelancers. You still have to oversee them, but you have a great resource in Legiit to find people that can do that work for you so you can be more of a manager and focus on growing your agency to its potential, which is mistake number 5, limiting your agency's growth potential. Look, you need to think big. You need to have a big mindset and big goals and think about 100 times of what you think you actually need in everything you do. A narrow mindset about growth prevents you from scaling your agency beyond your current capacity. Without a long-term vision of a great big goal, you're going to plateau and you're going to lose out on bigger opportunities. And when shit goes bad, the world gets shut down for a pandemic, there's an economic collapse, whatever, you're going to have a much bigger safety net to keep your employees fed, keep your income going, and keep taking care of the people or doing whatever it is that you have to do with your business. A narrow mindset is by far the biggest thing that you can get wrong. I know it's a bit vague, but you've got to think big. And what are some of the things I mean by that? One of the things is a big mistake I made, mistake I see a lot of agency owners make, undervaluing reinvestment in your business. Skipping investments in skill building, tools, and team development limits your ability to compete at a higher level. Don't think of them as expenses that you need to cut. Think of them as investments that you have to make. Don't think about, you cannot save your way to success. You can, however, spend your way to success, or I should say, invest your way to success by continuing to get better at things and getting your people better at things and using tools that will automate or grow your business and developing your team, not only your existing team, but adding new team members and continually, massively think big, expand your agency to a higher level and a higher level and a higher level so you can continue to compete and dominate. It's not enough to do well. It's not enough to do good. It's not enough to be successful. You've got to dominate to make sure that your agency stays in business when everybody else goes away. And you can't do that if you focus on short-term small wins. You have to focus on the long term. This will allow you to focus on strategies that drive long-term sustainable growth to massive levels. If you focus on short-term wins, you might make more money than you did last month, but in the long run, you're not building a healthy, sustainable agency that's going to achieve massive, world-changing results for you, your clients, your family, employees, and everybody around. You have to think long-term and think big to get big results that lead to sustainable 20, 50, 100-year growth. And you can't do that if nobody knows who you are. You have to build authority in your niche. What do I mean by that? You need to build a strong personal brand. This is just the way of the world in 2024, 2025, and beyond. Is people buy from people, and they do not care that you're some logo, SEO company, whatever. You need to do exactly what what I'm doing right now by being out there, being out in the world, being an authority. People that look to you and they go, oh my God, he knows what he's talking about. I need to work with him. This will allow you to charge more for the exact same thing because you have demonstrated that you are an authority that knows what they're doing and can get results and take care of people. And the way you do that is to continue to show your expertise and give away value for free via email, social media, blogs, YouTube, whatever it is, do it all, do 10 times more of it than you think you need to do. Think big about it, deliver a value and build that authority so that when things go bad again, you have the built-in cushion that you can still thrive because you're the authority, because people are going to be much more particular when things get bad and they're going to work with the people they think can do the best for them. And if you built your authority, you're going to do that. And if you haven't, people are going to go with the people that have, and you're going to end up poor and they're going to end up rich. So here's the solution to problem number 5. Think big. Invest in training, invest in resources, invest in your health, invest in yourself, invest in your business, and invest in tools like Legiit to access resources, training, tracking, and technology and partnerships that can elevate your agency to the next level and beyond. Never stop thinking big. So a lot of these mistakes might seem minor, but they have major consequences. Spending time on a bunch of sales calls with unqualified leads is a huge consequence that seems like a small thing. Not understanding your processes for outsourcing and then outsourcing the wrong way seems like a minor thing because it's just an order I got wrong. It's a big thing because then you don't get an ROI for your client, they don't stay with you, and you don't make money. These are all little mistakes that pile up and have a compounding effect that leads to you going out of business, you ending up poor and broke, and somebody else making money. So fix all of these things. They're minor in the sense that they're easy to fix, but if you get them all right, you get big results. But the biggest problem is that people don't recognize them until it's too late. So go back, watch this video again, make sure that you're not making any of these mistakes. And if you are, fix them before it's too late, because I don't want to have this conversation with you again in 6 months and you're still making those mistakes. If you start today, those mistakes start going away faster. The more action you take on them, the bigger you think on them, the sooner they go away, and the more money you make, the longer your agency stays around, and the bigger it grows, and the more you can dominate. And if you want to take control of this today, start using Legiit and sign up today, and we will help take care of you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.